I think that's just the fun of it too, is like having
Yeah.
these ideas that that's the way they operate, or like that's just perception in our head when you go to a venue or you go to an entertainment place, a sporting game, whatever that is, that the pop is does taste better. Welcome into the Wheat Steak Creates conversation. I'm Connor Friend. I'm with Jarrett Bird again, and we have a follow up on our last podcast where we talked about if soft drinks tasted different at the ballpark, at a stadium, at an event venue. And we did a little bit of research over the past weekend, and we have some really interesting finds. Jarrett, what did we find in our research?
After doing some research, we just kind of came to the uh we just kind of found out that it's not really something that they share, I guess, with the public.
Right?
I
Yeah,
mean, maybe they do somewhere, but it's not really just kind of out there for you. Um I,
it was just more something that we tried to do some research, and it was like, the whole idea. Let's just backtrack a little bit. So in our last episode, if you didn't listen, we had the theory that, NFL stadiums specifically, their concession stands did, like, they brought in new fountain drink vendors. So like maybe that was why the pop tasted so fresh and so new. And I'm sure maybe some of you guys out there know why it's that way, but
Mhm.
just on a quick Google search, we weren't able to really find anything. But the one thing that we looked at was this website called the Sadler. What was that, Jarrett?
Yeah, it's sadlersports.com. Um we just kind of found, as we were looking through trying to find different things on how they handled the concessions, and, like, how they did all their drinks and stuff. Nothing really pertained to that. It was more about food and, like, health safety and
And
how all they how all the precautions worked, I guess, like, and it was pretty much just like a normal restaurant, really. Like,
yeah, it was more just about like the food handling and stuff like that, which,
yeah.
to be honest, why would somebody even want to do? Maybe that's our calling in this. We need to do some,
Yeah.
like, we need to get some journalistic and, ask around, who knows.
Yeah, I
But
think we were just kinda overthinking it a little bit, and, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's the point of the conversation, but, um, I think we're just overthinking it, and, I don't think it's really something that's kinda just out there for you, but
right, and I think that's just the fun of it too, is like having
yeah.
these ideas that that's the way they operate, or like that's just perception in our head when you go to a venue or you go to an entertainment place, a sporting game, whatever that is, that the pop is does taste better. But that's just something that uh we thought, and it's just out there for the world to listen to now. But I do have an interesting take here. I did do some other research on fast food chains, and
Alright.
something I found was on the businessinsider.com. Headline: the real reason McDonald's Coke tastes so good. There's actually a reason. Apparently, people have actually put in the work to figure this out. Some of the main reasons that the McDonald's tastes so good. Well, first off, do you think it tastes different? Last episode, I think you said you did.
Yeah, I mean, what everyone I think can agree on is Sprite,
Right.
but I think that goes hand in hand. I mean, the Coke does also taste better.
So on this businessinsider.com, they have bolted some of the reasons that McDonald's Coke tastes a lot better than most other places, or at least tastes different. Tastes better is more subjective, but storage. Unlike most fast food restaurants that have Coca Cola delivered in plastic bags, McDonald's has the product delivered in stainless steel containers that help preserve the ingredients and keep the Coke tasting fresher.
You're telling me they deliver drinks in plastic bags?
Maybe that's one of the reasons why it tastes. Maybe at the NFL games at the sporting events, they deliver in stainless steel.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean,
That's
maybe they can pay the premium, and that's why you pay more for the drinks.
well, that might be why you go to McDonald's rather than going to like Subway for the drinks. Maybe Subway does plastic bags. This is really
Yeah.
interesting stuff. The other thing that they said on the Business Journal or the Business Insider is water filtration. Now, what they said about that was McDonald's website says, and I quote, in order to ensure our drinks are always meeting a gold standard, we have proper filtration methods in place. The fast food chain actually filters their water more than most competitors and invests a lot of money into maintaining their filtration system. Fresh water equals fresh Coke.
Hmm.
That's an interesting takeaway.
Yeah, I think other restaurants need to take notes. Why would you not want your customers?
Freshness.
Yeah, why would you not want that?
Like Subway, fresh or no, wait, that's not. I'm thinking Spangles. Freshness made to
Oh my
order.
gosh.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they do stainless steel. We should do a taste test.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to.
I think we're gonna have to. All of this information, by the way, is from the Business Insider. Like I mentioned, they're not sponsored by us. I just did some research, but the Business Insider, I'm just making sure that I am giving credit where credit is due. The other thing they said was the syrup in bold letters. Just like the temperature of the water, McDonald's pre chills its syrup before it enters the fountain dispensers. Hashtag so fresh.
Hmm. Interesting. Once you really think about it, soft drinks kinda sound gross. Come
When
in
you break it
bags.
down when you break it down like that, yeah,
Ugh. And then you put them in put the syrup in. It's like,
it's not healthy.
yeah, it doesn't sound it doesn't sound pleasing, I guess.
It
Sounds kinda
actually makes me
gross.
not really
Yeah.
reading this and doing some of this research.
Hopefully next time I drink a pop or something, I'm not thinking about this because I definitely
We
will not
probably
wanna
just
drink it.
ruined pop for a lot of drinkers out there. Actually, one of my questions are one of my questions for you guys that are listening is do you even drink pop that much? I know a lot of people have kind of strayed away. There's so many other options out there that are
Mhm.
maybe a little more healthy.
Yeah, and with COVID and everything going on, maybe people are trying to stay healthier and starting new habits, staying at home or whatever. They're trying to stay healthier since they're maybe not moving as much, or maybe they're moving more and they need to stay healthier.
Right.
So maybe they're getting away from the pop. I know myself, I haven't drank a lot of pop.
Yeah. I think it's just really interesting to see the measures that different places take. For example, McDonald's, I mean, they seem to do it right. And I think that it really does make a difference for the actual experience at McDonald's itself. And
Hmm.
who knows, like, of course, we didn't find any research the on the NFL at all, but uh who knows, maybe maybe other event venues like what we were talking about in the last episode is Intrust Bank. I mean, why would someone have uh research done on that? Like,
Right.
you know,
And yeah, it's probably just because people have asked a lot, like why does Coke and McDonald's taste so much better? Like obviously we're asking the question, so obviously other people have asked that question before us, but maybe not as many people go to ballparks or venues as they go to McDonald's, but and ask themselves the same question. So,
well, I also think that just working in the background that I work in, I've seen some things where, people food handlers aren't always the same every single year.
mhm,
So meaning for like Wichita State, for example, like food handlers change from year to year.
mhm,
So perhaps uh, the pop selection changes from like Coke to Pepsi, but also that could change
the
the
vendors,
the vendors
yeah,
like the quality of the food too,
mm,
depending on if they're bringing it in plastic bags, like
mhm,
Wendy's and I don't know if they do, but, like, just for example, if people are bringing in the stainless steel stuff, it may make the drink taste a little bit better, so
Right. And probably just honestly depend on the budget for the year, I could imagine,
right.
for the sport
There's
or
just so
whatever.
many factors in just the sports industry, the entertainment industry as to the experience, and I think that's, something to think about too, is, like, I've got a question for you listening. Do you guys, and as well as you, Jarrett, do you think taking away the food and the pop or the beer, at entertainment places, do you think it takes away some of the value in that? Like,
Uh,
going to those places?
I mean, no. I mean, obviously, if you take them away, people aren't gonna be happy, but, I mean, I can go to a game and not drink anything or eat anything. I just plan for that otherwise, obviously, either eat before or after, but I think it won't I think it'll make people, um, not necessarily mad, but I just don't think they'll be happy about it. So,
So let me think about this. So, out of 10 times, how many times are you eating at a hockey game? If you're going 10 times throughout the season, how many times do you eat or drink at a hockey game?
maybe 3 or 4 just because it gets expensive, like, if you like, maybe I'll get a drink or maybe I'll get a beer or something, like 2 or 3 times, 4 times. Probably not gonna eat just because there's so much around. I'm not I just and
Just
it's expensive and it's
yeah,
not very good, so
specifically in down by interest, right?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
there's
anywhere, like, even baseball games, like, you don't wanna go out of town or whatever and eat at the ballpark. You wanna eat at a good local restaurant or whatever it is.
yeah, that's a good point. I'm just really curious as to how many in this day and age in, all these fast food restaurants or just these random chains that get your food out so fast, like, and it's cheap,
Mhm.
like, how many people actually eat or drink at the ballpark. I think it's something to just think about. I don't know. It's a interesting topic for sure, but the findings of how these, vendors deal with safety and stuff like that, it makes me feel a lot better, like, going out and especially in these times, like, how much they actually pay attention to the safety and
Mhm.
everything with the food handling.
Yep, and I think it goes back to that, they're only open so many days a week or whatever. I think they have more time to prepare and make sure everything's right and train their staff and be on top of everything to make sure, everything's in line and
And cohesive.
yeah.
And to be honest, bottom line, that's their job.
Mhm.
Like, it's their
Exactly.
job to get the food out that's safe and that tastes good. And a lot of times, I mean, you just think about it, it's like that's their job.
Yep.
So, I think it's just really interesting to think about this kind of stuff.
And they're hired from outside, so, like, the people that work in the concessions don't necessarily work for the team or either one of the teams. I don't even think they work for the stadium either. They're
I think it's like each different event maybe has different.
yeah.
Actually, I really don't know. Because I
Yeah.
think maybe, like, the Intrust Bank might have a staff that works
Yeah.
just Thunder games
Yeah.
or
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I
I don't
don't
know.
work in that industry.
It would be actually pretty cool to talk to, like, a manager or something like that
Mhm.
to, like, hear and get maybe their insight about, like, if they think the pop tastes different or, like, how the day to day is for the event venues. That'd be pretty interesting.
Maybe when they open things back up and we can go to a hockey game, we'll have to talk to one of them.
Yeah, I think that'd be actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of hockey, man, I really I miss going to sports, man.
Yeah, me too. Do you know when they're coming back?
I don't know. I don't even know because if they do come back, it might be like not even half capacity.
Yeah.
It's just wild times out there.
You mean they just let whoever in because Thunder don't
They don't fill up the stadium.
they get like half capacity anyway.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the wind surge too, though. Whenever they come back, or when they actually play a damn game,
Yeah,
we'll have to test out their pop, their beer.
yeah.
We'll have to.
I'm
We
sure
should
it'll be top notch the first few games, and then
probably. We'll see what happens for sure. I'm excited about all that stuff to return. You never know when that's going to happen, but
hmm
we should really do a taste test and give the people what they want.
yep. Taste test pending COVID-19,
Yep.
and it's almost 2021. So
Yeah, we'll have to do that for sure. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I'm going to just say this right now. If you have any questions or anything like that, you can find us at Wheat State Creates on Instagram and YouTube. Send us a message, send us anything you like there. Also, just go follow, you know, subscribe, do all that good stuff.
and I'll be helping out a little bit. So just reach out. We'll get back to you.
Yeah, for sure. And throughout these first couple episodes, we've just been talking about food, but the whole idea of Wheat State Creates, and then this specific podcast is called Conversation, is that we can talk about anything on here.
hmm
I think that's just the beauty of it, is that this specific podcast on this distributor, this Wheat State Creates, is the idea that you can simply just talk about whatever. Recently, we've been talking a lot about food and a lot about uh, soft drinks and stuff like that. But in a few weeks, in a few months, we might be talking about, sports or video games. I mean, a lot of things that we talk about on here is just so random. So it's just
Yep.
whatever we feel like talking about.
Most of it comes from our just normal everyday conversation. Just debating. Really,
Just talking
just
about things that, you know,
yeah,
people always talk about, but I think it's just interesting to have it documented and recorded and sent out there, which is just something I really like to do. So
And if you guys have any suggestions for what we should talk about or any topics that you're interested in, just let us know and we'll see if we can get it on. Maybe we'll have you on to talk to us about it with.
yeah, yeah, like Jarrett just said, we're open to any ideas, anything that you guys want us to talk about. If you guys want to be on the podcast, reach out. We've got YouTube, Wheat State Creates, and then we've got our Instagram, Wheat State Creates as well. Just follow us, subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. And Jarrett, we're gonna have to really keep these going because I'm loving it.
Yep, might as well keep inviting me back and I'll keep coming on, I guess.
Yeah, yes, sir. Well, from what we found, no real research at all
Yep.
on the old soft drink vendors. One thing we found out: McDonald's, they do it top notch.
Yep.
Guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. This has been an episode of Wheat State Creates Conversation. Thanks for listening. #weed up, baby. Peace.